let's talk about the U.S. example some more, and then we'll talk about like non-U.S. examples. So, if a U.S. citizen is kind of listening to this and they want to think through the plan A or the plan B, but they're definitely interested in kind of a second passport somewhere. There's tons of countries, right? So, like, what should they choose? What's kind of like on your top five list of countries or jurisdictions that might be fit for a second passport? And then, like, what does that even look like? Like, how do you apply? Does that cost money? Like, how much? Just shade in some details here.
I mean, we've helped people get a couple dozen different countries' passports. So there's a couple main things to do. The first thing that I would check is what's called citizenship by descent. Do I have an ancestor? So in your case, some people actually, their mother was born in Canada and they didn't really realize that. But like in Canada, if you're born there, you're a citizen, same as in the US, same as in Mexico. I think we had a guy once, his parents were born in Mexico. He didn't realize he's eligible to be Mexican. So that's kind of an extreme version of citizenship by descent. What most people do is they go through their grandparents. So if your grandparents are Irish, for example, or if you have great grandparents who are Italian, Slovakia opened it up. You can go back even further now. So certain countries go back certain distances. A lot of them are in Europe. But we had a guy whose dad was from St. Kitts and Nevis, which actually has a passport by investment program, but his dad was actually born there, so he could get that. Or they're Mexican, or they're whatever. So Latin America and Europe have been the big ones for us, where go back to the family tree, and if someone was a citizen, every country has their own rules of how far back you can go. We're going to charge you for that. If we do that for you, we're going to go through and find your documents. Maybe in some cases we have to go digging through a church. We seem to get kind of the complicated cases because we're a bit more expensive than some of the local lawyers. But we get we do the cases they can't handle, like where we're digging through archives that no one, whatever, could figure out. So that's the first thing to look at. Now, it might take you. I think I knew a guy recently. It took him 4 years to get his Italian citizenship by descent. So if I wanted to get out quickly, I might pair that with something else. But that's one way to look at it. You're getting a pretty good quality passport, something in Europe generally, without much money. You're just basically paying service fees and maybe a filing fee. Not that expensive. If you don't qualify, or if you do qualify in crypto and you just want to be able to be out sooner, you can go through citizenship by investment. The price is going up. I'll let you. I don't know when we're running this, so I'll make it more neutral. The price of these Caribbean citizenship by investments, which have kind of been the go-to, is they just harmonized it, $200,000. So that's a donation you're going to make, and you're going to get a Caribbean citizenship from a country that doesn't want to bother you, probably can't bother you. It's a business transaction. They do due diligence on you, and you get a passport in, these days probably call it 9 months. I mean, the paperwork time has to get thrown in there as well. But that doesn't require you to really have any connections. You don't generally have to go there even. Other countries like Turkey have that, where you buy real estate. So if you want to kind of kill two birds with one stone, you buy real estate, you get the passport. Egypt has that as well. That's probably the best second passport. Vanuatu is not as good of a passport, but they've got a program that's going to stay around the $100,000 level. So you can just make donations with what's called citizenship by investment, all the way up to in Malta. They've got a program being challenged by Europe. It may not be around that much longer, but it's going to cost you about $1 million. And that's going to get you the same European Union passport that if you're lucky enough to get through your ancestry, you can get for basically free. So whenever I see someone who their grandfather was Italian, I'm like, I have clients who pay $1 million to get that same European Union passport. Okay, one's Italy and one's Malta, but if you have any of them, you can live in all the countries, and you can generally have pretty similar travel privileges. So those are the two big ways. We've had people who they go in and they hire 100 people and they get given, they're given citizenship. You've seen, the president of Serbia or Russia or France, give celebrities citizenship. So there's ways sometimes to do that, if you're a big investor. And then the other way, of course, is you just move there. If you get a residence permit somewhere, they might have a requirement to spend 1 day per year, or 6 months per year, or 9 months per year for X number of years, at which time you can become naturalized. You probably need to speak the language, or at least pass a test, and you probably need to learn a little bit about the history. So that's kind of like someone coming to the US and you see them waving the flag at the swearing-in ceremony. That's what you're doing somewhere else, except most other countries are more flexible than the US in terms of how long you need to live there, that kind of thing. But, that's not for someone who doesn't want to move. So you could do any combination of those, right? You could get, Mexican residence, spend some time in Mexico, apply in 5 years, while also getting St. Kitts and Nevis citizenship for 200 grand. You're covered, in the next year. And then you could be digging through the archives to see if you could become, Slovak. And if you got all those three, that'd be a pretty powerful combination. You'd be able to go to a lot of places.
If you enjoyed all of that, then you'll absolutely love the Bankless newsletter. Join over 300,000 fellow readers, all for free. Click below to sign up.